Welcome back to Public Affairs on Peach. And this morning we're talking about the fallout from the nightclub terror attack in Orlando 3 weeks ago tomorrow. It's a special Saturday edition of what we call the gunfight. My next guest this segment is Georgia State Representative Carla Drenner. She is one of Georgia's openly gay legislators and represents Avondale Estates. I want to thank you for being with me. Definitely thank you. So let me just start with this, because while some people call this a case of domestic terrorism, let me just say this, because in your mind, it was a straightforward hate crime. I want you to talk to us about this, because back in 2017, or I should say in 2017, state legislative session, you plan to reintroduce, because it's my understanding, Georgia used to have hate crime legislation and a hate crime law, but you were going to reintroduce it. And this hate crime bill that's going to be coming up, I want you to tell us about it and tell us why you think it's necessary, because some people don't think it's necessary.
Hate crimes, what I hear down at the Capitol a lot is that all crime has to do with hate. You know what, though? There are different types of crimes based on people's biases. And so when you go in and you target a group of individuals because they're African American, because they're gay, because they're Muslim, that's hate. And Georgia doesn't have a law that protects people from that targeted type of crime.
Right.
And I think that we are one of 5 states in the nation that does not have a hate crimes law. And to introduce it again, listing categories where specific types of individuals are protected, and the whole point is to gather information to be able to document that this is occurring. You know, not having a law does not mean that things don't happen. 45 other states already recognize that this is a national issue, and yet Georgia denies that as such.
And is it possible to get a measure like yours passed in this particular legislative, how shall I say, environment? Because you look at just the conversation we had with myself and Mike, where you hear, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people. The gun doesn't jump up and shoot people. People do that, true enough, but there is a responsibility from the person who has the gun. I think that there's a huge responsibility that's being shirked every time you hear rhetoric like that. What do you say?
Well, you know, you flip the narrative, and we hear that all the time. We hear that from the national gun rights groups. Nobody wants to take your gun. Nobody wants to make you less safe.
Correct.
What we want to do is make sure that people that don't have a gun are safe, and people that shouldn't buy guns are not allowed to buy guns.
Right.
So listening to the fact that guns don't kill people, people kill people,
yeah.
that to me is circular reasoning, and it misses the point of what is actually happening in America when 91 people per day are dying of gun violence. When people can walk into a bar with a AK-47 and kill 50 people. You know, I haven't heard anybody talk about the fact that there was an armed guard in the bar.
Right.
And the armed guard couldn't stop that person, and neither will having everybody in a bar with guns.
Yeah, I know, and it is so very frustrating. I know for a lot of people, what is the solution to this huge, huge problem? I want you to stay with us, because we certainly will be talking about this and much more. Of course, first responders dealing with all the scenes like the one in Orlando when we come back on Public Affairs on Peach. Back in a moment. Thank you, sir.